Mardi 11 octobre 2005, en ce soir d'avant-première au Chinese Theatre, tout Hollywood s'est réuni pour fêter le nouveau film de Tony Scott, Domino.
My name is Domino Harvey. I am a bounty hunter.
Mais au-delà de la sortie du film, Hollywood célèbre aussi le retour au premier plan d'un acteur auquel plus personne ne croyait. Un homme que tous pensaient perdu pour le 7e art. Cet homme, beaucoup l'estimaient comme étant l'un des plus importants comédiens de sa génération. C'est Mickey Rourke. Depuis quelques mois, Rourke a changé. Il a enfin laissé tomber les chemins de traverse qui l'ont emporté tout près d'une destination dont on revient rarement.
It was hell. I don't know what hell's like, but I've been there a little bit, I think.
Un retour de l'enfer que Rourke ne cesse de célébrer en ce soir de première. Ses amis, les nouveaux et les plus anciens, sont tous là pour déclarer à quel point Mickey Rourke est un nouvel homme aujourd'hui. Un homme avec qui partager l'écran est un vrai bonheur.
Ah bah je l'aime, je l'aime.
Je l'avais en face de moi et je peux dire qu'il donnait beaucoup et il a ajouté un petit peu de son... pour exciter la scène. C'est bien. Il est très fort. Et je suis très contente de le voir travailler beaucoup là maintenant.
C'est quelqu'un de charmant, gentil, prévenant, en plus toujours près de vous, en train d'essayer de vous ressourcer, de vous aider. C'est quelqu'un qui a une très belle âme.
He's amazing. He's such a talented person, and I'm really happy that, you know, he's been doing so well, and he's just a great guy.
Obviously heard the stories before I started shooting. I mean, I didn't know how much to believe and how much not to, but I loved him from the moment I first met him. The thing that's incredible about him is that he totally knows his character. He is at one with his character. He cannot help but be himself. There isn't any pretense. He's the first one to tell you about all the worst aspects of his character, and you can see firsthand the best aspects of his character. So it's totally amazing to work with.
I've always been a huge fan of her. I've known Mickey for 25 years, so I knew him a little bit socially when I came to LA, and then I used him in Man on Fire, and he's back. He's always been great. You know, he just lost his way a little bit.
Sans ses égarements, Mickey Rourke serait aujourd'hui le roi d'Hollywood. Dans les années 80, il en était déjà le petit prince. De Diner à L'Année du Dragon, en passant par Rusty James ou 9 semaines et demie, Rourke s'est emparé du sommet de l'affiche à une vitesse phénoménale. Les meilleurs réalisateurs de l'époque se l'arrachaient.
The other director who fascinated me very much was Coppola, when we did Rumblefish, and we didn't have a text. Coppola at the time was a very innovative, progressive director who took big chances.
You need some money? I'll get you some money. Okay. Here we go. Let's shoot this.
Like I say, he swims in water that nobody else swims in with his vision, you know.
Action!
Adrian Lyne was very important because he is a very interesting man. He's very, his direction was very subtle, but it was very definite. Where I used to maybe have conflict with him, whatever choices he made, that I look back on it, were right. Probably the one who touched me the most is Cimino. And that's a very sad one for me because Cimino's someone who I would, you know, love to work with again. And if he comes back around, I'd like to go for a ride with him again because he was just so demanding. He just challenged your ass, you know.
En 88, Mickey Rourke joue Johnny Walker, un boxeur has-been dans Homeboy, un film qu'il coécrit et produit lui-même. Un gros échec commercial. Homeboy ne sortira même jamais en salle aux États-Unis. Il y laisse un gros paquet d'argent, mais se découvre une passion pour la boxe et délaisse les plateaux pour les rings. Il s'entraîne de plus en plus et joue de moins en moins. En 91, il tourne Sable Mortel, un de ses derniers films de studio dans le désert du Nouveau-Mexique. À l'époque, une équipe française du magazine Hollywood 26 l'avait rencontré sur le tournage. Dans ce document très rare, on s'aperçoit à quel point Mickey est au bord du gouffre. Mauvaise fréquentation, abus de produits illicites, arrogance. Dans cet entretien, tout ce qui l'entraînera vers sa déchéance est déjà là.
in Europe, people go wild for you, but with the American media, you've been having some problems lately?
Yes. Lately, for about 10 years.
For about 10 years. Why is that? I mean, why is there such a big difference?
Probably because I've got a lot of talent, and I speak the truth, and they're always afraid of that. If you look at your top 10 so-called movie stars, you can't say those are your 10 best actors in the world. So I don't think it really has anything to do with acting. People don't give a fuck if I can act or not. They only want me to kiss their ass and behave. So if that's what it's all about, I'm at a place now where I'll behave. I won't kiss their ass, but I'll show up on time and know my lines. I don't want to be 50 years old and doing shit that I don't believe in. I'd rather do this, you know, for another 5 years and then go do something else. Because I'm only going to live once. Did you peel this for me, Franco?
Yeah.
Thank you. Franco's very handy.
There you go, Franco. Same knife I used.
Make sure it's not poisonous. You gotta taste it, Franco.
Same knife I used.
Franco Pisano is a very important part of the fucking company here, right, Pisano?
Cool. Right.
Right. If the producers fuck with me, they gotta deal with Mr. Pisano. We don't deal with Jewish lawyers.
And Mr. Pisano doesn't fuck around, yeah?
Pisano? No. Nah, I have a picture from my fight. You want to see that?
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Beating the shit out of Steve Powell. Notice the veins exploding in the neck. I was gasping for air. I had a cigarette in the dressing room before I went on. Gee, they took my gun away. I can't show you my gun. Say goodbye.
15 ans plus tard, le discours est bien différent, moins arrogant, moins excentrique et beaucoup plus lucide.
Just mad at myself for being so arrogant, so indulgent, so stupid. Because, you know, God gave me a good life, and I learned my lessons the hard way, but I took it all and spit it out.
Après le tournage de Sable Mortel, Mickey Rourke abandonne quasiment le cinéma pour s'improviser boxeur professionnel et il ne s'en sort finalement pas si mal. 11 combats pro, 10 victoires. À l'époque, il refuse de mettre trop en avant sa carrière sportive. Du coup, les images de ses combats sont assez rares. En juin 92, il part à Tokyo pour affronter Darrell Miller. Nous avons réussi à retrouver un document d'époque avec des images de ce qui restera comme l'un des meilleurs moments de la vie de boxeur de Mickey Rourke. Darrell Miller au tapis en un seul petit round. La victoire est probante et le style impeccable. Mais tout cela a un prix. En 95, les docteurs lui interdisent de remonter sur le ring sous peine d'y risquer sa vie. Il y a déjà laissé sa gueule d'ange. Pommette détruite, nez cassé 4 fois, il multiplie les opérations de chirurgie esthétique pour retrouver son visage d'antan. Sans succès. Il y laissera aussi une vraie fortune. Côté vie privée, c'est le désastre. Il se retrouve en prison après avoir battu sa compagne, l'actrice Carey Otis, et devient une sorte d'égérie de la mafia locale. On le verra même au procès de John Gotti. Pour vivre et rembourser les dettes qui s'accumulent, il multiplie les apparitions dans des produits de série B, voire pire, destinés au marché vidéo. Le plus grand espoir du cinéma américain n'est plus qu'un has-been. Au milieu des années 90, Mickey Rourke touche le fond. Aujourd'hui, il essaie d'analyser les raisons de cette étrange déchéance.
The only person I have to blame for me fucking everything up is me. You know, 20 years ago when I was a kid, I used to say, oh, it's this motherfucker or that fucking guy. And then after I fuck up my marriage, my career, my house, my whoever, you know, you got to look in the mirror one day and you stop pointing the fingers at everybody else, and you got to, you know, when you're really fucking alone, and you got no money, no house, no fucking career, no wife, you got to go, it's me. You know, I finally looked in the mirror and said, oh my God. And then I thought, I have to change. And change is very hard. When your whole life you fight so strong to be a certain way, a certain kind of man, but then all that armor becomes a weakness. First of all, I didn't want to change. For a long time, I was proud of the way I was, and then I realized, I made a mistake. I went too far. And then when you realize you have to change, you don't know how to change. And I said to my doctor one day, I said, hey, you know, was I crazy? And he goes, and I said, hey, you're not supposed to say that. He says, but you're not anymore, because I work very hard. I realized that before with me there was no rules, none, no rules. We live in a society where there are rules, and you pay consequences, and when I finally had to take responsibility for my actions, that's when you realize the change is good. And I was very ashamed of having to change. It hurt me, my machismo, it hurt me that way. I felt not like a man sometimes. But I think it takes a stronger man to realize that he's wrong, even though he's cultivated his way. Because I had to put aside people I hung out with. You know the kind of people I used to run around with. And then what happens is when you have to move away from the people you're friends with, you become alone, because I didn't want to make friends with a different kind of man. I was only comfortable with certain kind of boys, you know, and places and things to do. So the isolation, like a lot of people I know, they get out of a relationship. They have another relationship 6 months later, 5 months later. I don't have a relationship now for 10 years because I don't want a fucking Band-Aid. You know, and the only way you grow, I feel, for me, the only way I could grow was to be alone. And before I have a relationship, I have to fix myself, and I have to try to reclaim my career back, because without my work, I'm nobody. I'm a bum. I'm just a piece of shit. I'm a loser. The way they said, you're a loser, you're a broken man, you're a has-been. For a long time, that's the way I felt, that's the way I was, that was my reality. And my reality was shame. To live in disgrace as many years as I had to live in disgrace is tough. So I had to get strong in a different way. I had to learn a different kind of strength, and it's taken 8, 9, almost 10 years. And if I don't take responsibility for my actions right now in my life, then all the people that go, he's finished, he's a loser, he's a broken man, they win. And I'll tell you something, I'm not going to ever let them win, because they don't know what it's like to be in the ground for 15 years and still breathing. It's better to be dead, believe me, than to live in disgrace. I mean, I'm a proud man. It was no picnic living like that. But I'm the one who did it. I'm the one who fucked it up, not all the people I used to go. So all I can say right now is I am so fucking grateful to have a second chance. But also, I earned the second chance.
Côté cinéma, cette seconde chance n'est pas non plus venue d'un seul coup. Rourke a dû tout recommencer à zéro pour se refaire un nom à Hollywood. Tout d'abord grâce à un petit coup de main de ses proches. En 97, Coppola lui demande de jouer un avocat véreux dans